Ever wanted to see a film where Jamie Lannister goes beyond the wall in a man vs. nature film where he battles against the ice? Well, that's the premise of Against the Ice. Unfortunately, this film is just that. A fantastic premise. And then there's the movie, which is... It's a film. It plods along. It's inoffensive. I finished it. But if Jamie Lannister, my favourite sexy man with a beard, just rugged man going through the ice, if he wasn't in it, would have I finished this? I don't know. Would have I even watched this? No. If you're looking for The Revenant, like if you're looking for the next Revenant, or if you saw the TV series The Terror, amazing TV series with people on a big boat stuck in the frozen ice and they're all like, it's bloody cold. Oh, we need to get out of here. This is awful. And maybe there's a polar bear or something. Just watch that. It's like 5 times longer. 10 episodes, I think. Just watch that. I mean, I don't even know if I need to say anything else in this review. If you wanted to watch Against the Ice, just watch The Terror. So once again, we've got another survivalist kind of horror film stuck in a big desolate area where there's nothing about and it's all icy and it's all cold. And what they've got to do is they've got to go to get a piece of paper to make sure that Greenland is whole, and because the Americans think there's a big line in the middle or whatever with water, so it's 2 countries, and so the idea of like wanting to get there and like, you know, why they're trying to get there and everything is really, really interesting. I love the idea of Jamie Lannister's character being like, you know, why does it have to be you? And he's like, I don't know why, but it's got to be me, you know? This real rugged adventure, survivalist, you know, explorer, like this just epic, crazy man that wants to go and just wander through desolate, icy tundras and shit. Like, it's crazy. It's such a crazy idea. And then he's got this naive, young guy who's like always talking. He's like, I just want to go on an adventure with you. Famous adventurer, explorer, Jamie Lannister. And the idea of it is really cool. It doesn't fall into any of like the cliche trappings of rugged adventurer that doesn't show his heart and naive young boy who talks all the time and they bond and they share and they change. But then there's also a point where it's like, okay, you're not going to do that cliche. What are you going to do, though? Like, what's the arc? What happens in this? Because there's scenes where stuff happens, but they're such, like, short, quick vignettes. Which, ironically, this has, like, Jamie Lannister and Tywin Lannister in it, and that was kind of why we wanted to see it. My favourite father and son duo back together. They're going to be all in the snow. It's going to be amazing. Tywin Lannister and Jamie don't meet. A huge disappointment for me. And also the scenes that Tywin's in are back off outside of like the frozen wasteland, which really felt like kind of jarring to kind of like we're meant to be trapped and isolated and stuck with them for almost 2 years or over 2 years, 700 something days by the end. But I never really felt that. Like every time it came up, it's like 30 days, 300 days, 400 days. Like the number shocked and horrified me. But then when we cut back into the actual action happening, well, action, I say, just men sitting around being like, I miss girls. Yeah, no shit, mate. It's a little ironic that I watched it to see these Game of Thrones actors act together again and they weren't in it together, which was a shame. But also, this show felt like even Game of Thrones at its best felt like vignettes. Like sometimes it's like, oh, we only got a little snippet. I really want to sit and delve into that little moment, that little scene. It would just kind of snip through the story sometimes. This is exactly that, but just in a movie form. I don't necessarily want to watch like something that takes its time and we actually like, I don't know, I don't want it to be like a 4-hour epic. Like that's not what I'm saying. But it's just like there'd be scenes where he's like, this is my trusty dog. He leads the rest of the dogs. I don't even need to like ride the sleigh. He really just does it all for me. My trusty steed dog boy thing, whatever he's called. Don't know why I said steed or boy. I'm getting lost, but he essentially loves this dog and I'm like, well, that dog's dying at the end of the film. But no, that dog dies like 3 minutes later. So this show is like, hey, you think that you can't kill one dog? The classic Hollywood rule, don't kill dogs. This film is like, we're killing all the dogs. None of them survive. There's like 30 dogs in this film and they all die. At one point, there's a really gruesome part where they're like ripping the dog apart and like they're eating the liver and they get sick and I don't know. There's some really gross, disgusting stuff in this. But apart from me just being horrified that they're eating dogs, it didn't really sit with me. Like when the film finished and I was thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, there were dogs in this. Because in the back half, you forget that they were eating dogs and that kind of stuff. Because the film never really sits with anything and it flies over 700 plus days so quickly with so little time in between. it feels really, really rushed, which is such a weird feeling for a movie that's meant to be this kind of big, epic, arduous journey where they've been trapped, isolated in the snow, together, just the two of them, for 700 plus days, which is just an impossible number to kind of wrap your brain around. And so I guess as an audience member, I'm sitting there being like, I don't know, I just couldn't grasp what they were kind of feeling in those moments. They didn't do anything with like the film, the filming techniques, like the camera work. Nothing in the style of the film really kind of captured my imagination. I mean, actually, sorry, I should say, just generally, every single shot in this movie is gorgeous. It's utterly gorgeous. The first 30 minutes, I was just on board just because I was looking at absolutely gorgeous Arctic, snowy mountains and rivers and ice and just endless, boundless, beyond the wall beauty. And it was just gorgeous to look at. But then suddenly I started realizing that was all I was looking at. Like the story wasn't really capturing me. I was really just watching Jaime grow a beard and being like, man, even with a disgustingly long beard, he's just the sexiest man in the world. And then just looking at the snow and being like, that is such a beautiful place I have no interest in going to because my God, does it look cold. They are just like, oh. There's a polar bear attack at one point, which is really, really exciting. I really like that. But that's just because big bear attack and, that's fun. There really just was so little to grasp and to hold on to. The film felt so bizarrely meandering. It just confused me by the end. And yeah, it just, I don't know, it wasn't what I really wanted. And it felt like it was kind of wasting the opportunity because this is based off a true story. So I don't know, just like the fact that happens, like I think the most emotion I felt was seeing that photo because they take a photo in the film. And to see that photo of the two real men who really went through this, that hit me. That like emotionally made me just go like, oh wow, like that kind of sunk in a little bit. And then I think that's when I truly realized how little this film had made me feel, even though what they went through is impossible to like, it's indescribable what they went through. Like, they've got so little food for so long. Oh, yeah. And then there's that bit where they come back and there's a hut because they've left with the ship. And they're like, I guess we'll wait for a year and someone's going to come back. And, now it's a waiting game and it's a cabin. And it's like, cool. Now it's going to be like the Homer versus Mr. Burns in the cabin in that Simpsons episode. Great Simpsons episode. Watch that instead of watching this. Yeah. Just watch that 5 times instead of watching this. But they're in the cabin and I'm like, okay, stuff's gonna get real. Shit's gonna get real. And then he's like, has a dream that the bear's gonna steal the message that Greenland's whole, like the whole point of the expedition. And he's like, we gotta go. Dreams are real. We gotta go. And he starts going loopy and they're like, all right, they're gonna go back. And then just before they leave, for like hundreds of days or months of, it's really unclear how many days they went, back and forth because the days just skip over. Who knows? But a long time they're going. And just before they leave, he's like, should we maybe leave a note in case somebody comes back? And he's like, absolutely not. We've got no time to waste. We've got to go right now. It's only a 100-day journey we're doing. We don't have time to spend 35 more seconds to write a note. What are you talking about, Jamie Lannister? I'm trying to be on your side. I love you, Jamie. But what the hell are you talking about, man? That is crazy, an insane thing to say. If I was going to the shops with my mates for 5 minutes to go get some candy and I was expecting, someone to come to my house, I would take the time, even if it was a 5-minute journey, I might take the time to send someone a text being like, hey, if you arrive and we're not here, we're off getting candy. We will be back. Don't think no one's home. Just wait outside. We'll be back. It takes so little time to write a note. I would do that if I was gone for 5 minutes and expecting someone. If I was stuck in the frozen tundra, Arctic, wherever the hell this film is set, I would 100% leave a note. I would spend that extra 35 seconds. And it's not even really Jamie's fault because the other guy is like, maybe, oh yeah, you're right, we shouldn't leave a note. Why don't you just go back inside and be like, oh, I actually forgot some vital piece of thing we actually need that you'll be fine with, and just write a note. Or be like, well, screw you, Jamie. You're not the boss of me. Infuriating. And then they come back and they're like, someone was here. And Jamie's like, oh, don't you say it. Don't you say it. And he's like, don't you say it. And then the guy's like, probably should have left a note. Stupid film, actually. Now I'm really kind of starting to think about it. That really, And then they all go crazy. Jamie's like, I'm going crazy. There's my wife. She flew down on a hot balloon. Hot air balloon. It's like he's going crazy, but he's not going crazy. Like there's a bit where he's like, I gotta kill you. I can't believe you said that you had a sex dream. about a random lady on a photo. How dare you? I kill you now. But then he doesn't kill him, and then 2 minutes later, he's like, I'm sorry I did that. That wasn't cool. I tried to kill you. And he's like, it's water under the bridge. Great. Conflict resolved. Yay! Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below. Did you watch this film, and what did you think? Were you like Revenant, more like, this sucks? It's nothing. I'm tired. This film made me tired. I have no time for jokes. And unlike it being very cold in that movie, it's so hot here. It's just so hot today. Ugh. You know what? Actually, now I'm thinking about complaining about that, even though it's like the opposite weather. It's very ironic that I'm complaining because, my God, it would be so cold. I would die within a day of being in that movie. Just a day. I don't care how many rugs, how many animal skins I'd have on. It's just, I'd die of cold. It's just, and boredom. God, oh my God, I'd be so bored.